Hey, good morning, YouTube. Today I want to take a few minutes and just talk to you about what an investment is. This information about what an investment is comes from me going to Warren Buffett's meeting in Berkshire at Berkshire Hathaway, the shareholders meeting. I've been there 3 or 4 times, and also kind of comparing that to Rich Dad Poor Dad and what he talks about. And so let's get right into it. An investment simply is something that pays you to own it. Now, I didn't necessarily say a good investment or a bad investment because those, definitions are based on what you're looking for in the investment. But the first thing we'll look at here is Home Depot. Home Depot, you got a 1 year, it bounces around. 5 year, it goes up, mildly over time, and max. So does it meet the criteria of an investment? I didn't say it had to go up in value, but the dividend on Home Depot is around 2.5%, let's say, over time. So it's paying you to hold it. So an investment is something that pays you to own it. Okay. Now the second one's VIG. Here's the 5 year in VIG. It goes up. It could be a good investment, but it pays you to own it. Walmart stocks, similarly. There are other stocks that don't pay you to own it. Maybe you can look at it from a capital standpoint and say it's reinvested, but something that pays you to own it is an investment. What about this house here? Is this an investment? It goes from this value to this value. Does that make it an investment? No. If you live in the house, it's not paying you to own it, so it's not an investment. It's something that gives you some value, which is great, which is you live in it, but it is not an investment because it does not pay you to own it. If you have this house as a rental, then you make money on it and it pays you to own it. This would be considered an investment. Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin an investment? Well, I didn't say a good or bad investment, but Bitcoin does not pay you to own it. Now, back in the day when you could put your Bitcoin on an exchange and get 5 to 8%, then it was something that could pay you to own it. So it could have been an investment. Now, good or bad investment depends on what it pays you, how it goes up, changes in value, and those things. But Bitcoin today is not an investment anyway. Now, you look at Solana. Now, Solana, as you can see back here on this chart, I have it staked. It's making 6.97% as it's staked. Is that an investment? Well, technically, it is an investment because it's paying you to own it. Is it a good investment? Well, the inflation rate is 8%. You're getting paid 6.97. So whether it's a good investment or not depends on whether the growth in the stock in the Solana and the value that you get outpaces that inflation. Same thing as the dollar. Is the dollar an investment? No, not unless it pays you to own it. Is a government bond an investment? Yes, because it pays you to own it, but it's paying you 5% and the inflation's 8%. It depends on the inflation rate on that dollar and how it's changing versus everything else you could change the dollar into. At 8% inflation, the 5% return of bonds is not a good investment. It is an investment, but it's an investment that you lose 3% on a year. Now, if you take the same dollars and you say, is $1,000 in your bank account an investment? Well, are you getting paid on that $1,000? And if you're getting paid 1% in your savings account, inflation's 8%, it's a bad investment because you're losing 7%, but it is an investment. What about a car? If you get paid to own the car in some way, then it can be an investment. And if you don't get paid, then it's not an investment. Buying something so that someone else will buy it from you for more later is speculation. Speculation is not always a bad thing, especially if, let's say, you have a business and the business is buying and selling cars because it's a car business, then you're speculating on each car. But the cars are not investments then, they're speculations. The business as a whole that you put $100,000 in to buy the speculated cars and then it creates an income for you, that business could be an investment. So if I I do shoes. So if I buy shoes, 1,000 pair of shoes, whatever pairs of shoes, and then I am selling those shoes in a business, something I do every month, every week, and that creates a certain amount of income for me, then the shoes would be speculation, but the business itself would be an investment. I wanted to make sure that you understood, because one of the transformations or inflection points in my investing was learning what an investment was. At a certain point, I realized I had base skill sets such as saving, accumulating, controlling my money, but I didn't know how to invest. So I went to Berkshire Hathaway's meeting, and Warren Buffett, in very simple terms, explained what an investment was. At the time that I was looking at that, I was looking at buying some land. I thought the land would, go up in value over time, and I was looking to see if it was a good investment. I looked at the land, the area, how much I could make on it. Basically, you could just cover your expenses on that land is all I knew how to do, and so it wasn't going to create an income for me. So I went to his meeting. He explained what an investment was. An investment is something that pays you to own it. So if you buy gold, a huge block of gold in this extreme, he said that 60 foot by 60 foot by 60 foot would be all the gold in the world, and you could sit on that gold. But for the same value, you could buy all the farmland in the U.S. and a lot of the major companies for that amount of gold instead of having it, and they would pay you, we'll say, $800 million a year, and he would rather own all those things that pay him. And so he took it to the extreme, and at the extreme, having a large block of gold would be great, but it actually wouldn't do anything for you until you sold that, and then you wouldn't have the block of gold. So I would rather have something like a rental house, or like Walmart stock, Home Depot, VAG, that while I own it, it benefits me, and possibly it grows in value to keep up with inflation. And I wanted to show you the things that I've done this with. Now, I will tell you that at one point, right, like we talked about, Bitcoin was an investment where you could stake your Bitcoin on exchange and get paid based on someone else borrowing that Bitcoin. Now, it became a bad investment when those exchange risks, such as Celsius, BlockFi, and things, started going under, and you realized that they were actually borrowing money against your assets, and then when they behaved badly, you lost your assets, not as an underlying part of the risk of that borrowing, but as part of their business operations. At that point, the risk was way too high, and it became a bad investment, and then ultimately people stopped paying on Bitcoin. So that's why I don't consider Bitcoin an investment today, although it was at once. Solana still is an investment. Whether it's good or bad, it's yet to be seen. It did go up a lot recently. A rental house is definitely a good investment if you buy at the right price, if you know how to manage it. Even if you outsource all those functions as a percent of that rent, if you can still get paid on that asset. And so investing and becoming wealthy boils down to one thing. It is over time acquiring investments. It is not about buying an investment, selling an investment. It is about acquiring investments over time that continue to pay you out money, so that that income stream from those investments that you manage or that you passively, semi-passively manage, produce income that comes into your coffers so you can buy more investments. And at the point that those create a significant amount of benefit for you is really when I would consider you wealthy. And so I wanted to throw this out there and tell you about it, make sure you understood. But this is one of the inflection points and learnings that I had along the path to acquiring wealth and managing my money in a wise manner. I hope it benefits you. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.